and we'll just explain the important points, and then we'll go through some introduction of nectar of instruction today. And then next week we'll start the verse 1. So before we start, we'll just chant Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhisam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Patakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpataribhascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Now, before we start, just wanted to confirm everyone got their results of Ishopanishad. We are all happy. If you have any questions, please let me know. If I have made a mistake in checking your copies, you're not satisfied with the marks or anything, please let me know, and I'll try to correct myself if necessary. Also, just to say, Akhand Rasa Prabhu has got the highest marks for Ishopanishad, so big Hari Bol to Prabhuji. He has done in all 3 sections, in closed book exam, in open book assignment, and shlokas, obviously. So he's got the perfect marks. In assignment, he has written more questions than what is there in Amaichi guide. And very long, elaborate answers Prabhuji has given, which is very, very nice. So thank you, Prabhuji. And Ujjulasa Mataji is also just behind. And I think Charu Mataji, if I'm not wrong, I can't remember the marks. She's like the 3rd one. But yeah, most of you have done very, very wonderful. So thank you for all the hard work. Hope we can improve those answers this module. We're going to share, Sundar Gopal Prabhu has prepared a template for all of us. We'll share that template in a while so that you can take help of that template and just start in that format. It's pretty easy and straightforward. Sundar Gopal Prabhu, maybe we should discuss the template first, so that before I start the discussion, I think many devotees are here. If not, we'll post it anyway. So that while we are on that topic, I can just talk about it.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to open the template now.
Okay, no problem. Prabhu, I'll stop sharing.
Sure, Prabhu, I'll share in another maybe a few seconds.
No problem, Prabhuji. So that way, all the assignments are very consistent, because sometimes devotees struggle with the formatting. So it's good to have a one consistent format. And again, if you have any suggestions for more improvement, please let us know, and we can definitely improve, because we want to see good things, no matter where it comes from. So we'll just discuss that, and then we can discuss some overview of this NOI. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I thought we'll discuss at the end, but I only changed it, so apologies for that.
My system is a little slow, Prabhu.
No problem, Prabhu.
I'm nearly there.
Okay, you're nearly there, then it's fine. Otherwise, I can try to have a look if I should have it somewhere. It's just when I'm inside the NOI, probably don't want to come back.
No, it's okay, Prabhu. I'm
Yeah,
almost.
okay. Okay, I got your file, Prabhu, if you want me to share.
Yeah, if you like to. It's opening now.
Okay, no worries, Prabhuji. I'll let you.
So when Zoom is open, my system actually struggles to open everything else.
Okay, should I share? I got that file.
Okay, if you got it open, Prabhu, let's do it.
Yes, I got it. One
Still trying
second.
to open, it's not there yet.
No problem. Okay, let me know if everyone can see my screen.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so the Gopal Prabhu, maybe you can take over.
Okay.
You want to take the control if that's okay. Can you take the control?
That's okay. I mean,
okay, you let me know when you want me to move.
Actually, my file is open as well now. But
okay. Okay, you do it, Prabhu, because that way, you can
sure.
Run through better.
Yes, Prabhu. Let me know if everyone can see my screen.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can see.
Okay. So Hare Krishna, everyone. So Prabhuji said we should, have a template so that we've got a consistent thing. So this is the sort of template that I've been using in submitting my assignments. You will find the file name as well as like when I send this file, all you need to do is replace your name. The file is named as Krishnadas, BS NOI assignment Krishnadas, but change your name there. Similarly, change your name here, who's submitting it here. As we move forward, got a little table of contents here. We'll talk about it once we go through the rest of the thing. It's pretty straightforward. I've divided that into two sections. Section one is your closed book answers, which is short answers. Populated all the questions for everyone.
Should it be open book, Prabhu, or is it called closed book? I can't remember. I'm just asking. Because it's an open book assignment.
Okay, I'll double check.
No, it says closed book. You are right. But ideally, it is open book
It is ideally open book. I've
Yeah.
taken what's there in the
Yes,
thing.
yes. No problem. No problem. You're just following as it is.
Yes.
All good.
So yes, so the way we will do it here is we put the question numbers per section in the assignment, as you see. So for preface, you'll have these questions. For text one, you'll have further questions. And under that, we've got response. So I've deliberately put this here. Please write your response here. So when you are going to put your responses, you can just pretty much take this one off and start typing your responses here. As simple as that.
Yeah, so Prabhu has already put all the questions for NOI. So it's all there for you. You just have to write your own response. And because you're writing in your own words, the font and the font size will not change. Because I found in few assignments at least, the font sizes, font types varies throughout the document. That basically indicates either you have written different timings, so you have done it differently, or you have pasted from some of the document. So font type and font size should be consistent throughout. It looks much more cleaner. So if you write this way, it should be, one size.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that's your section one. And then section one will pretty much stay consistent for everyone. It won't change because the questions are fixed there. Then when we move to section two.
So Prabhu, there are 34 questions, is that right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so 34 questions for the assignment, okay.
And then when we move to section two, which is
just before we go to the section two, so basically keep your answers in a paragraph as you have done for the previous assignments. Try to write, even if it's one line answer, try to expand that line in this open assignment. That will be great. So don't write just one liner. please expand your understanding because we are in module 5 now. So that will be very good. Instead of one liner, please put your answers in a paragraph, explain, give references where possible. Yes, Sundar Prabhu.
Okay, so here, basically this section will likely be different for, it may be same for some, but different for others, because depending on how many essays we need to attempt in this module that Prabhuji will advise us.
So Prabhu, there are 2 essays to be written for everyone. So Akhand Rasa Prabhu asked me last week itself. I think he has already started writing assignment. So Prabhuji, there are 2 essays to be written. Sundar Gopal Prabhu, maybe you can paste. There's 7 choices altogether. Maybe you can paste all 7 here, and devotees can just go and write if they want to choose, 5 and 7,
I
whatever.
can do that, no problem.
Yeah,
I can
we
do
can.
that. I'll put them as the question numbers they appear in the student guide,
Yeah.
and then whichever you don't want, you can pretty much just go and remove it from here.
No, don't remove it, just leave it there. Because sometimes Prabhu, what I have to struggle, devotees put different question number than the actual question number. So if they're writing second essay, I'm just
Okay.
saying,
Yeah. No, I understand.
they,
So that's why
they,
I'm saying I'll copy exactly which question numbers are there,
yes,
and whichever question you're attempting, leave that one there and remove the one that you're not attempting. So, for example, if you're not attempting question 1, you can remove it. The
yeah,
reason
but
I'm
don't change
saying
the
this,
question numbers.
yeah, no, it won't change the question numbers,
No, no,
Prabhu.
I'm saying, yeah,
It's not a running sequence.
yeah.
This is manually typed. The reason I'm
Okay, perfect.
saying this is because when it comes to the table of contents, it'll become easier. Otherwise, you'll see all the
7
questions that you
questions. Okay,
get.
yeah, that's fine.
Uh,
Yeah. So
once
yeah,
you, yeah, so if you remove that, only the questions that you have attempted will appear here.
perfect. Because sometimes auto numbering, changes the number and then I
Yeah,
have to
no, so
find
I've
it.
typed it, it's not
Yeah. Okay,
an auto
perfect,
number
Prabhu.
there. So that should not ideally
Yeah.
disturb it.
Prabhu, also just one request, you can change the color of the question. I do that sometime just for these ones.
Okay.
Put whatever blue, green, don't put red. So I put
No, that's
remarks from the red, just put something else so that, or you can even highlight, Prabhu. I highlight the essay question. You can highlight with yellow.
Is it
But
only
it's
essay questions, Prabhu, or all the questions you
no,
want?
no, just the essay questions,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Okay.
Just so I will see only 2 highlighted ones, so I know they are the essay ones.
Sure.
Also, please add, many of you have done it, some of you have not, word count at the end of the essay. And if you are copying the references from Prabhupada or some other book, that's fine. You can do that. Just put in gray highlighted colors. Prabhu, can you highlight gray anything here? Just 2
Yes, sir.
lines. So you just literally go if you don't know. Prabhu is showing on the screen. So highlighted gray, I
Highlight,
consider as a
and then
reference. You have
that's the
copied
highlighter.
somewhere, which is fine. Just do not count those words or paragraphs in your total word count. The expectation is around 750 to 1000 words. It can be a little bit more. I saw one essay in last module, 3000 words. That was pretty massive. So devotee is spending a lot of time in writing, which is good. It becomes a little bit challenging for me to go through every single word because I go through every single essay, every single word. So if you can't limit, that's nice. Again, there is no deduction of marks by writing extra. But yeah, limit your essays around 1000, 1200, 1400 words like that.
Yeah. So word count is at the end for each of those questions. I'll put the word
Yes.
count, and that's highlighted in yellow. So that's number of words. You just put whatever number of words are. If you select whatever you've done, it'll tell at the bottom how many words are there. I mean, this is obviously telling you the whole thing, but when you select, it'll give you only the count. And then you can exclude the citations like Prabhuji said. So if you've copied something from somewhere or some references, so that can be excluded. This word count is the number of actual words that you've written.
Sorry, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Prabhuji, so you're saying if we put like any verses or any shlokas from the as a in support for whatever we have to write, then we don't, that doesn't get included in the word count. But then do we then you're saying to highlight the gray?
So that, yes.
What was that?
So any references, like if you're quoting any verse or you're quoting from somebody's lecture, so that you can highlight. You should highlight in gray, like I've done here, just as an example, and don't include that in your word count.
Okay, I thought there was a way to like that it will automatically
So you
not
just count
include
the highlighted portion. So for
it.
example, see here it says 3 of 678 words. So because I've selected 3 words here,
Okay.
those 3 will subtract. So if I count this total, so it'll tell me. My system is a bit slow, sorry, taking a bit of a while. But usually what it'll do is it'll count the number of words. Once it's working fine, it will. And it'll see, it is saying now 7 of 678 words. So you subtract 3 and say 4. That's an example. So that's why we say here, this excludes the citations.
Okay, so we'll just highlight the verses in gray and then count however and then deduct it. Okay, thank you, bro.
Yes. So once all of this is done and you remove the ones that you don't need, I will update this document. The last step would be for you to go to this table of contents. I've actually put a comment here, a note here as well, how to update it, but I'll demonstrate it so that it's easier for you to see and then follow this. So all you need to do is just click here on table of contents. When you do that, you will see something like this appear. I mean, this is MacBook, so your windows might look a little different. So look and feel might be different, but you will see something like this. You see this arrow, click on that, and then you will see an option to say update table. You click on update table and select the option that says update entire table. So when you do that, it will automatically change the numbers that you're seeing here. So as you write, the pages will increase. The question on text 3 might go to page number 5, for example. So then when you do this update, it'll automatically update this page number. So you don't have to manually go and type page numbers here. That's not something that you need to do. And I've mentioned here this comment that I've just explained. It's already mentioned in these notes. In case you face any issues or have any doubts at the time when you're doing it, you're more than welcome to message me and I can help you out.
And just on that in Windows, because I don't have Mac. So you just right click anywhere here and it will have option of refresh. So just press refresh and that's it. Yeah. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from anyone at this stage? Okay. If not, Prabhu will share this
One
document.
quick one on this module 4, it is there on the header. Maybe you can update that, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, I'll just update it.
Plus at the footer, maybe the Krishna Das we can put so that each page has the name of the. If it's there, because there's no, only the first page you have the name of the person.
The file name will also have it, Prabhu.
Yeah,
But
that should be enough. First
Okay,
page file name is enough.
all right, that's fine.
we've
Yeah.
got page numbers as a footer.
Okay.
Okay. You can change individually if that's helpful. Okay. Should we move to our next topic? Everyone is okay? Okay. I consider that as everything is good.
Stop sharing, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. So the assignment, I'm just looking in your document, is on page 95. Also, before we start, we have Shubham Prabhu joining us from this module. So we'll say a big Hari Bol to Shubham Prabhuji. Hari Bol. So everyone knows Prabhuji. He's a very, very long-term devotee in Gopinath temple. And he is a very scholarly person. When he gives classes, he speaks more Sanskrit than English or Hindi. So we are very fortunate to have his association. And Shubham Prabhu, if you have anything to add, please do, because we are just learning from each other in these classes. Okay, I have a little presentation. I will just open that and we can start our discussion. This one. Okay, can you all see my screen? Okay, all good.
Yes.
So let's start. So this is module 5. I think the MIHE guide, you will see a different number. It doesn't matter. We can do little flexibility there. Anyway, so we are doing this module 5. We've already done 2 books, Bhagavad Gita, which took around 2 years, and Ishopanishad, which took exactly 3 months. Now, next of devotion is left after NOI, which we will do as the last module. So before I start, I always like to read one quote from His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. I love this quote. So just a reminder for all of us why we are doing this Bhakti Shastri, why we are doing this knowledge sessions. So anyone would like to read this little quote by Maharaj?
Okay, Prabhu, I will read.
Sure.
We must cultivate philosophical knowledge in order to have a proper understanding by which we can proceed without being bewildered by the temptations of the world. To learn simply for the sake of accumulating knowledge is one of the greatest obstacles to spiritual advancement.
Thank you,
His
Mataji.
Holiness Radhanath Swami.
Yeah, thank you, Mata. So basically, I keep reminding myself, it's more a reminder for myself. So to learn simply for the sake of accumulating knowledge can become the greatest obstacle in spiritual life. So we are not reading these books to accumulate knowledge. My Guru Maharaj clearly said to me, he said, we are not becoming a scholar consciousness, we are becoming Krishna conscious. So our readings, our study should be for pleasing Krishna and Guru and serving Krishna, not for any other purpose. So if you can memorize, you can get higher marks. That's very, very nice, but that's not the purpose of this whole study. The purpose is we become better devotees and we can help spread this mission in a better way. That's the whole idea. Nothing else we are doing by achieving these higher classes. Okay, so before I start the book, NOI, it is written by Rupa Goswami, which I'm sure everyone knows. Has anyone not read NOI before? Just honest answer, okay. I see one hand. Priya Mataji, was it a yes or no? Okay, I can see Prema Bhakti Mataji as well. Okay, Sundar Gopal Prabhu. Okay, the expectation is actually you should have all read NOI before coming to Bhakti Shastri NOI. So I would highly recommend, it's a very small book, relatively small book, very, very deep book. So please give it a quick go before you come. At least you can do one verse reading before coming to the class if you could, because otherwise the understanding may not be complete. And we only have limited time, so we'll be trying to cover many, many topics in one class. So please read the book, at least one verse you can read. And yeah, before you come to the class, please read and have a good understanding of that verse. Then the class may help better. Now, Rupa Goswami is one of our main acharyas. I'll just give a quick intro for those who doesn't know, who have forgotten. So Rupa Goswami is one of the main previous acharyas in this line. We are called Rupanuga, so we are trying to follow in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami. Now, Rupa Goswami was by birth a Brahman. He has 2 more brothers, Sanatan Goswami, which everyone knows, and also a 3rd brother called Anupam. So Sanatan Rupa obviously was under the direct shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And out of these 6 Goswamis, anyone knows the name of 6 Goswamis? Anyone? Okay.
Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Rupa Sanatan, and Jiva Goswami.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So these are the 6 Goswamis. So out of all these Goswamis, by age, Sanatan Goswami is the eldest one. But because Rupa Goswami, as you can see in this picture, was the first one to receive direct instructions from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even Sanatan Goswami considered him as a senior disciple. Although in age, Sanatan is the higher. So as you can see in this picture, Rupa Goswami got the first direct instruction, you can say, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 10 days. I'll come to that. So Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Anupam, they were the 3 brothers, very, very scholarly people. They had command over many languages, brilliant people. I'll not go into too much detail about Rupa Goswami, but because of his brilliance and noble character, he was very popular. And he was so popular that Nawab Hussain Shah of that time heard about him, and he forced Rupa and Sanatan to join his government, which obviously they didn't want. Basically, what he said, if you don't join my government, which obviously they were not interested in, we will kill different Vaishnavas and we will stop whoever is practicing this Vaishnavism. So to save those Hindu Brahmin community, they were forced to join. Anyone knows what name Hussain Shah gave to Rupa and Sanatan?
Kabir Khas and
Dabir Khas. Who was Dabir Khas?
um,
Rupa Goswami. And Sanatan was Sakar Malik. So you can remember S and S. So S is Sanatan. So Hussain Shah gave these names, and they sort of joined the government. They were in high post. So Dabir Khas was the personal secretary of Hussain Shah, and Sakar Malik was the finance minister. So Rupa Goswami was the home minister and the finance minister. They were like the highest post in his government, which they got. So you can imagine direct admission into the highest post. So they didn't like join the government and they got promotions and like that. So they were so intelligent. And there are stories in Chaitanya Charitamrita how Hussain Shah identified them, that they are so good that they should join me. Anyway, so they were in the government. They were not very happy. And he was born in 1489. Anyone knows Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birth year? 1486. So he's 1489. So he's 3 years younger in this Prakat Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He obviously knew about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Rupa and Sanatan both, while they were in government, were communicating with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with letters. But first time they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Ramkeli when he was 25. So it would be 89. So how much it would be? 1123. So 1514, I would say, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu face to face for the first time at Ramkeli. Anyway, soon after his meeting, after 1 or 2 years, he left the government and he walked out from the government. He basically ran away, and Sanatan was stuck there. He was in jail. That's another story. Anyway, so he was walking from Bengal to Vrindavan. On the way from his first journey from Bengal to Vrindavan, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayagraj. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was extremely happy to see Rupa Goswami. Now, Rupa and Sanatan name was given in his first meeting at Ramkeli. So he was initiated, you can say, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Ramkeli in his first meeting, face-to-face meeting. As I said before that, they were communicating with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu via letters. So he came to Prayag and he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally instructed Rupa Goswami for constantly 10 days. And in 10 days, he gave him so much empowerment that Rupa Goswami was able to write so much what he could write. Anyone knows the books of Sri Rupa Goswami besides NOI, which we are reading right now? Any other books you're aware of Rupa Goswami has written?
Nectar of Devotion, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Anything else?
Laghu Bhagavatamrita.
Laghu Bhagavatamrita, I was actually going to say, yeah, Ujjwal, Neelamani, he has written around 20 plus books. Now, NOD, which is Nectar of Devotion, he took many, many years to complete. He was 56 when he finished Nectar of Devotion. So you can say from 25 to 56, such a long period. Not that he was constantly writing one book, he was writing multiple books, but this is such a masterpiece, such a masterpiece. It didn't happen in one day. It took many, many years. And nowadays, we have to not pay even 1 single cent, and we don't have time to read that book, which Rupa Goswami, a person like Rupa Goswami, took like decades to write just that one book. Anyway, all his books are extremely high. He presents a high level of rasa. Each book has a different purpose. He is also known as Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. Manobhishtam is Rupa Goswami is able to understand the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's one incident in Chaitanya Charitamrita about Rath Yatra. In Rath Yatra, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, he stopped his dance and he went on the side. Later on, when he went to see Rupa Goswami, he had written a verse on a palm leaf, and he has stuck that verse on the roof of his hut. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to see Rupa Goswami, he saw that little leaf there. Rupa Goswami had gone, I think, to take bath. And even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was reading that verse, and he was so happy, and he said to Rupa Goswami later, "How can you read my mind?" And Rupa Goswami said, "You have given me that power." So if Krishna empowers someone, they can do a lot. Prabhupada said, "I wasn't expecting this movement to grow so much." Prabhupada said that. But because Nityananda Prabhu had empowered Srila Prabhupada could do so much, even out of his imagination. So it says, when you become a good devotee, a genuine, pure devotee, Krishna can make you do so many things which you even can't imagine. Huh? Sometimes we struggle even to remember one verse to do some simple devotional service. But if we become perfect via media, Krishna can really use us as a medium to do so many wonderful things. And then we really realize, actually, I'm not doing it. Krishna is doing through me. And then you have no pride. Anyway, so Rupa Goswami was extremely close to the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was writing exactly what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to write. Now, because he was the first one to get the instruction, direct instruction by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a nutshell gave 4 instructions to Rupa Goswami, which he continued giving to others 5 Goswamis as well. So what are the 4 main categories of those instructions? You can read on the screen here. First one was rediscover the lost places of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, because around 5,000 years ago, when Krishna left this planet, many of those important places were lost. It says even Radha Kund and Shyam Kund was rediscovered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When we talk about Radha Kund appearance day, which comes in Kartik, actually it's not the actual technical appearance day of Radha Kund. It is a rediscovered appearance day by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, it appeared somewhere in April. There's another tithi for that. Anyway, so what I'm saying, so many things were lost. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself and all these 6 Goswami found different places, because that was one of the main instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Second one was, once you find the place, what do? Build temples on that. One example can be given of Madan Mohan temple or Govindji temple. Rupa Goswami built Govindji temple. Sanatan Goswami built this Madan Mohan temple. And there's so many other temples. So these Goswamis were building these temples on the desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So find those places and build a beautiful temples there to glorify pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Third, which is a very, very important instruction, write literature. And what should be the theme of those literatures? Establishing the supremacy of devotional service as ultimate teachings of Vedic literature. So now, after reading Bhagavad Gita and Ishopanishad, if you remember from our initial discussion in Ishopanishad, there's something called sadhya and something called sadhan. What does sadhya mean? Anyone remember still?
Goal, Prabhu.
Sadhya is goal, thank you. And sadhan means?
Process.
Process to reach that goal. Anyone can give a simple example?
Bhakti Yoga is the process.
The 9 processes.
9 processes. What do they call? Sadhya or sadhan, Mataji?
Sadhan.
Process.
Sadhan, process. So process to achieve the goal. So suppose my goal is to go to Radha Gopinath temple. So Radha Gopinath temple is my sadhya. And how do I go? I go by bus, car, walk, whatever. They are all sadhan. So what is the sadhya in bhakti? Sadhya in bhakti. Why are we doing bhakti?
Love for Krishna.
Love for Krishna. So Krishna, which is the Supreme Personality of God. And what is the sadhan to achieve that? What is the way to achieve that? As Mataji said, Shravanam, Kirtan, Vishnu, Swaranam, there are different processes to achieve that sadhya. Now, many people perform the same sadhan, but for a different sadhya. Anyone can give an example for that, where the sadhya is different, although the process or the sadhan may look similar.
They do it sometimes to attain economically,
Thank you,
they want to
Mataji.
improve.
Thank you, Mataji. So many people worship Krishna, especially in India, for example, or many of the demigods. They also do chanting. They also go to temple. They also bow down. They do some devotional service. But their goal is not to achieve love of Krishna, which is Chaitanya, as per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is called Pancham Purushartha, Prema Pamartho Mahan. So that is our sadhya, very, very clear sadhya. So to not get confused with our sadhya, Goswamis were instructed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you write very, very clearly who is the sadhya. Now, as per Bhagavad Gita and Ishopnishad, you can say, they generally, on a high level, say their primary theme is to establish sadhya. Not that Bhagavad Gita and Ishopnishad does not talk about sadhan, but the primary goal of Bhagavad Gita and Ishopnishad is pointing towards sadhya. Now, NOI and NOD will deal with the second part, which is sadhan. Sadhan means process. Once you know, I have to achieve the love of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I want to develop love for that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, how do you practically develop that love? That will be explained by NOI and NOD, nectar of instruction and nectar of devotion. NOI and NOD, up to an extent, does not deal with what is the sadhya. So it does not talk about demigod worship and this and that. It straight away considers the reader of this book already knows Krishna is the sadhya and I want to develop love. So how do I develop that love? That is what these books talk about very, very clearly. Now, NOI in the whole book, you will not see anywhere else talking about any other demigod worship, talking about Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, or something like that. NOD also very limited talks about other sadhans, but it proves the supremacy of bhakti everywhere. And as you know, the famous verse, Anya Bhilashta Shunyam Gyan Karmadhyanartam, the famous verse from NOD 111.1 by Rupa Goswami. So this is what we are trying to read in these books. The last mission which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to exemplify and teach. So one is writing the literature, one is teaching the literature. So as Prabhupada wrote many, many books, but that was just not limited to Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada established the whole book distribution party. The whole movement, Prabhupada said, is running on two things. It's about chanting the holy name of the Lord and distribution, book distribution. Obviously, book distribution means we read and distribute, not just distribute. So our whole movement is based on those things, chanting the holy name of Krishna and reading and sharing this knowledge with others. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very clearly gave this instruction, not only write the books and you feel, okay, I have written 10 books in my life. That's very nice. But what do we do with the books? We distribute to the mass of people. Just with nectar of instruction, one instance which I read recently, initially when nectar of instruction was finished by Prabhupada. Now, Prabhupada did not finish it in the early days. Prabhupada, if I'm not wrong, finished this in 1973. This book was published actually quite late in that order. So Bhagavad Gita obviously came pretty fast. Ishopnishad came pretty fast. NOI came later. And when devotees read this NOI, who were editors of this book, they only printed a small number of books. So Prabhupada asked them later, so how many books you are publishing of NOI? And they told a number. I can't remember the number. Anyway, so Prabhupada said, why so little number? It needs to be distributed widely. So they said, oh, Prabhupada, I thought it's only for devotees. He said, no, anyone can read this. Anyone can read this. So although this book is has a purpose to make you a pure devotee of Lord, but Prabhupada said anyone can read these books. So then later on, devotees were publishing in a large number and distributing NOI as other books of Srila Prabhupada. So these four mission you can remember. So one is to find the lost places. Second is to build temples to glorify the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Third was related to writing the literature to establish the supremacy of bhakti. Clearly talk about sadhya and sadhan, mostly about the sadhan. And then the fourth one was distribute these books to others, which again, we can talk in some other time. Is that clear so far? Okay. Now, after this instruction, as you can see in a different picture, Rupa Goswami came back to Vrindavan and he started writing these books. I think after 2 years, he made one trip to Jagannath Puri, and then he came back to Vrindavan for many, many years. And I think later he made one more trip. So physically, he met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only 3 times. Rupa Goswami only met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 3 times. And he did so much. Many times we talk about we haven't seen Prabhupada, we don't have opportunity to meet with our spiritual master. But here you see Rupa Goswami only met three. Prabhupada also met with his spiritual master, I think 3-4 times. Very limited number of times. The interactions were very, very limited. So it's not how many times we see the spiritual master, it's how many times we surrender to him. So when we surrender to our spiritual master, his physical presence may be there, may not be there. Prabhupada said, I am never separated with my spiritual master. So physical presence is very good, but more important is the Vani association, service to Vani of the spiritual master. And Rupa Goswami is one of the best examples of that. Okay, this is the picture of Radha Damodar temple, which you see on my Zoom calls always. I really love this picture. And you can see Srila Prabhupada, when he was staying in Radha Damodar temple, and he explains that I had darshan of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami not only gave him darshan, he gave him direct instruction to go to West and assurance that all the help will be provided. So Prabhupada was not only like having these emotions, he said, I got direct instruction from Goswamis. Many times you'd heard a very famous incident when Prabhupada was staying in Radha Mother temple where Rupa Goswami Samadhi is there. So Prabhupada in the middle of the night will go and sweep the floor and he will cry, saying, please, Rupa Goswami, give me your mercy, give me your mercy. For many, many years when he stayed there, he was constantly praying for mercy of Rupa Goswami. So any big task, if we want to do, it cannot happen just on our own intelligence, our own scholarship. It has to be, blessed by our acharyas. When the acharyas bless you, then you can do so much wonderful. And I think a book came where it says the title was for about Prabhupada, the lifetime of preparation. So Prabhupada did this lifetime of preparation. He only preached for 11-12 years. But in 11-12 years, the impact Prabhupada made to the whole world, it doesn't have any parallel in world history, any parallel. No other acharya in the span of 10 and 11 years spread the Krishna consciousness movement so fast and pretty wide. It became a household name. If I'm not wrong, George Harrison, when he brought his album, if anyone remembers the name, I don't remember. Anyway, it was #1 for like 10 weeks, #1 in the world. So you can imagine how many people were aware of this Hare Krishnas. And now many people complain, outsiders, that we don't see you because we are not going out these days. We have become more in-house, although many devotees still trying. So we should go out and show those colorful Harinams to the people. Anyway, so Prabhupada got direct instruction from Srila Rupa Goswami, and by his instruction, by his blessing, he could do so much wonderful things in the West. I'm going to read the preface of Srila Prabhupada. It's a very short preface. We can read it quickly. And the first line of the preface, Prabhupada writes, this Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. Now you can say for all practical purposes, Srila Prabhupada started this movement, and he was the one who was working day and night, super hard. But he gives credit to Srila Rupa Goswami in the very first line of the preface. And he says, under the conduct and the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. Now, how do we know this? Because Prabhupada said that Rupa Goswami told me, and he gave me assurances. So I am working under my Acharyas and Guru Maharaj. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas, I'm just reading the preface here, are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan are direct disciples. Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Aputi Kabe Hame Bujabe Se Yugala Priti. So first, Narottam Das Thakur is saying Rupa Raghunatha Pade. So he's first praying to not Radha Krishna, first praying to 6 Goswamis. And that's what we do in our Mangalacharan as well before we start any class. So we remember all these acharyas, 6 Goswami, Panchatattva, Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, so that we can speak something worthwhile. Otherwise, many people are speaking, but it should be worthwhile. It should be, again, as a service to our acharyas, not as a show of our intellect. Otherwise, that sort of class will not be successful. It will not be transformational. It may look very attractive, but it doesn't have any sustainability. I think I shared this example of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I like it. He gave this example. When he was in Sydney, one day he was giving class. There was not many people, maybe 20, 25 people, something like that. So Maharaj, I don't know what the context was, but Maharaj said, if Amitabh Bachchan gives class, there may be like, 10,000 people sitting here. Huh? But when we are discussing Bhagavatam, there is not many people. But he said, that doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter. What matters, how many people are getting transformed. That's what it matters. Prabhupada said, if I can create one moon, that's better than millions of stars. And then Prabhupada never compromised in his principles ever in preaching Krishna consciousness. He was very bold and upfront and clear. 4 regulative principles, 16 nouns. Very, very clear. He was not compromising in any way in his philosophy or in any other thing. Anyway, so Rupa Raghunatha Pade. So first we have to pray to our acharyas, then we can go to the next step, which is Radha and Krishna or Sitaram. When I'm eager to understand the literature given by Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the science of Krishna. The most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of 6 Goswamis: Sri Rupa, Sanatana, Bhatta, Raghunath, Sri Jiva, Gopal Bhatta, and Dasa Raghunath. So, Prabhupada is very clear. We have to follow in their footsteps if we want success in our Krishna conscious life. Success means serious heart transformation. Everything else is mundane, is external. Keshav Maharaj said, nothing else will go with us, including our mala. Even our mala, even danda, he said, even danda, even if you have taken sannyas, you have the brightest orange cloth, it doesn't matter. Nothing will go with you. The only thing which will go with you is your transformed heart, your desires. So unless our desires are transforming by these practices, we are not doing good. And we have to just relook into it again and again and again, why our desires are still the same. Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Updeshamrita, the nectar of instruction to follow. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the 8 verses known as Sikshastaka, Rupa Goswami gave us Updeshamrita. So as we know, Sikshastakam of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very famous. Similarly, this Updeshamritam, only 11 verses, but beautiful, beautiful verses. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Now, Prabhupada, in the preface, is giving an introduction or summary of verse 1 of Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction. In all spiritual affairs, the first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. And we are probably aware of this principle. If you're not able to do it, and again, we need to read it. I was listening to Chaitanya Prabhu today for some class, and he was also emphasizing on this point again and again. He is saying, even if you're not able to control your mind and senses, you keep practicing devotional service and make a goal. Even if you fail 10,000 times, 10 million times, even you make your goal very clear, your intention very, very clear, and pray to Krishna, and it will happen. Many times what happens, we forget the goal, and we think we have been in this moment for 10, 15 years. We got a different spiritual name. I have a spiritual master. Many devotees know me, and that's enough. No, that's not enough. We cannot impress Krishna by those external things. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness. Satvaguna, by following the instruction of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. So we have to practice devotional service from the platform of mode of goodness, and eventually we will transcend even that. But to start with, we do not practice devotional service in mode of passion or ignorance, although we may sometime drag it down to those modes. In temple or in devotee association, many times we deal with each other in mode of passion or ignorance. Again, by reading all these books and by good devotee association, that will go. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. As we were discussing, at the end of the day, it's all about attitude. I'll give one example which comes to my mind. Prabhupada gives this example in Vrindavan to his white elephants, his Western disciples, when he visited the Vrindavan for the first time with them. So he said when he was living in Radha Mother temple, there was one old lady which will come every day, and she will bring a pot of water from Yamuna to bathe the deities there in the temple, in the Radha Damodar temple. And that was her only seva. And she will bring this pot of water from Yamuna every morning, no matter it's summer or it's winter. And she will keep the water in front of the altar while the doors are still closed, and she will go away. She will not look for any glorification, any credit. She will not talk to anyone. Say, see, I've been bringing water for so many years. And Prabhupada was very, very appreciative of this old lady. She probably didn't know any other science, any other history, physics, maths, but she knew the science of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said, she's going to go back to Godhead. So it's the attitude which matters rather than anything else. So if you can just do, as Radheshyam Prabhu says, just pure devotional service. It doesn't have to be very big, just pure, which pleases Krishna, which pleases our spiritual master and devotees. We can make it back to Godhead. We can make it back to God by their blessings. A follower of Krishna conscious movement should become a perfect Goswami. Now, that's a pretty high goal. We'll talk about this in our verse 1. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. In Vrindavan, there's a title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. Go means senses, Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. Now, this you can say is a lifetime goal or lifetime's goal. I don't know when we will be able to do that, but that's the target Prabhupada is giving in the very first page of Nectar of Instruction. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of Lord, one must follow instruction known as Updeshamrita, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami has given many other books such as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vidag Madhav, Lalita Madhav, but Updeshamrita constitutes the first instruction for neophyte devotees. Read the word here, it says neophyte devotee, not for advanced devotee. It feels like such a high book, but Prabhupada is saying this is the first instruction. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one life successful. Okay, so this just to get the depth of what we're going to read in Nectar of Instruction. Okay, so we have to do a little summary of NOI. We can put in 4 points. This is the objective of reading this book. What are the 4 objectives? To guide our activities, you can say our daily activities, especially our devotional activity and our dealings. And we'll read about that in a minute. We can become Goswamis, as Prabhupada writes in the preface. So Prabhupada is saying everyone should become Goswami. And then we can become pure Vaishnavas. So Goswami here refers to you can control your mind and senses, and Vaishnavas refer to pleasing Krishna and spiritual master. Can be interchangeably used, or it can have a little subtle difference there. And the last one, it will be easier for us to make our life successful. So unless we do that, we are not making our life successful. Although externally, we may be very, very successful person in the material world. But that success, as Radhanath Maharaj says, they are the prisoner of the success. So we don't want to become the prisoners of success, so-called success. We want to become successful in devotional life. So this book is very, very helpful for us to get that mood. And then if we can follow this 11 verses or even few verses in our day-to-day activities, our devotional life will not be a struggle. It will be a very, very easy thing and a joyful thing to perform rather than a heavy burden. Oh, I have to chant my 16 rounds again. Oh, Ekadashis again. Another festival is again. No, you look forward to Ekadashis and chanting 16 rounds or even more, and look for devotee association. Okay. So now before I go inside, any questions or comments? Okay, everyone is okay. Now, These is again given in your guide, so don't worry about. I've just put the same thing in a PowerPoint. So there are 7 themes which this books talk about, and I'll read each name. I keep getting this black marker. I'll try to move it. Okay, I can move. Okay, so there are 7 themes in this book. So mind and sense control, attitude, ISKCON's purpose, guru and disciple, sadhu sangha, devotees. Now there are different kinds of devotees, different behavior with different devotees, and the qualification of different devotees. And the last one is bhakti, which is different stages of bhakti, and we'll talk about it, and development of it. So mind and sense control, as Prabhupada already says, without controlling our mind and senses. Now, you may not be 100% successful all the time, but sometimes you will be successful, sometimes you'll fail. Chaitanya Prabhu said there are 4 stages. So initially, we always get defeated by the mind. Later on, we have some struggle, some success, and some defeats. So our struggles are more, successes are less, and defeats are more. The second stage. Third stage, our struggles become less, successes are more, failures are less. Not zero, but failures are less. And the fourth stage will be struggle less, success. So you will be able to control your mind and senses all the time without any effort. An example given, many devotees before coming to Krishna consciousness, they were attracted to, say, alcohol or meat eating or some other things like that. But now after coming to Krishna consciousness, and I can please talk about this group, if someone offers you a bottle of alcohol or meat, how would you feel? You'll feel disgusted. Huh? Forget about any attraction in your mind. You'll feel disgusted about it. You want to probably get out of that place ASAP. But if there are some other things offered to you which you like even today, which may not be very conducive to Krishna consciousness, we may get tempted, at least in the mind, if not physically. So this is just a normal process, nothing to worry about. It's just medicine is working for some things, medicine is working on the other things, and someday we will be cured, because there are subtle things. We have done those things for millions of life again and again and again. So come out of those things can be little difficult. Huh? There's nothing to lose the enthusiasm. So NOI will help you how to achieve that purpose of controlling your mind and senses. And this thing is talked about, as you can see in the very first line here, is in preface, mantra, verse 1, 2, and verse 8. So these 3 verses in preface talks about the theme of mind and sense control. The second theme is talk about the attitude. As Prabhupada said in the preface, bhakti is all about our attitude. It's not about gaining some tangible success in so-called courses or in so-called community, and how many followers do we have, how many classes do you give, how many kirtans you do, how many verses you know. It's not about that. Even if you know thousands of verses, these verses should be able to change your attitude. And then they are success. They are success because they have helped you to come closer to Krishna and to devotees. So how do you change your attitude? As you can see in the second one, it's just filled up. So whole nectar of devotion is talking about changing your attitude. So preface to all the way down, I'll not read everything here, is about changing your attitude. So you can say this book is so helpful in changing our attitude. Third is ISKCON's purpose. What does it mean? ISKCON purpose means how ISKCON is helping you to change the attitude. So we have this organization built by Prabhupada, which helps us to become a better devotee. As Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness is not something which we are bringing something from outside. We already have it. We are all pure devotees by default, but we have forgotten about it. So ISKCON is helping us to uncover those things which we already have. So ISKCON's purpose means how ISKCON or ISKCON's activities on a day-to-day basis, as Prabhupada established from morning 4:30 a.m. till 9:30 p.m. Prabhupada established a very set schedule. Every single temple follows that schedule. And if we follow that, that will be very helpful to change our attitude, to control our mind and senses. So ISKCON's purpose, how many verses directly talk about it? You can see verse 2, verse 3, verse 4, verse 6, 7, and 8. So Prabhupada is talking about how ISKCON or this sanstha, this organization, is helping you to achieve those purposes. Guru and disciple relationship, a very, very important theme which is talked about in our organization in ISKCON again and again. What's the qualification of guru? What's the qualification of disciple? And how do we maintain a very nice, loving, close relationship with our spiritual master? That will be spoken in preface, mantra 1, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Sadhu Sang, the root of everything. Without Sadhu Sang, we cannot achieve anything, which will be spoken in mantra 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Again, it's a direct theme there. It doesn't mean other verses does not cover it, but primarily these verses cover these themes pretty hard. Now, devotees, again, as I said, there are different kinds of devotees. A person, Bhakti Maharaj said in a class, anyone who visits a temple, you can call him as a devotee. Anyone. He's a meat eater, he's drinking alcohol, he's breaking all the rules, he's come from a prison house. It doesn't matter because he has some faith. Some people will be visiting regularly. Some people will be very, very serious devotees, but they're all called devotees. But again, there are different kinds of devotees. Now, how do we behave with different kinds of devotees? That will all be explained in different verses of Nectar of Instruction. The last one is bhakti. I'll talk about that in the next slide. What are the different stages of bhakti and how do you go from one stage of bhakti to another stage of bhakti? Now, in Nectar of Devotion, also we will read quite elaborately about these different stages of bhakti, which is not explained in NOI, in Nectar of Instruction, but we'll see the practical application of those different stages in NOI. And what's the definitions of those, which we'll read in NOD. As I said, NOI and NOD is talking all about sadhana in detail, Again, you can see the themes goes throughout Nectar of Instruction. All these verses is covering different stages of bhakti. Okay. Now let's do a quick overview of this whole NOI in one page. So we already talked about 7 key themes in the last 2 slides. You can read that again here. Now what we're going to talk about these 9 stages of devotional service, which many of you are already aware of. I'll just read quickly and define probably in a line or so. As I said, the NOD will define it in much more detail. So Shraddha, anyone knows what Shraddha is? We have our mother Shraddha here as well. Very nice name. Parents, I'm sure, have given this name so that we can develop some more love for the Lord. So I'm talking a general definition of word Shraddha. Anyone? Now, Chaitanya Charitamrita also defines Shraddha. Bhagavatam also defines Shraddha. Faith, yes. More than that. So faith is a translation. That's fine. How do you define that in one line, Mataji, or anyone else? So translation is fine, faith. Now, you can say a sannyasi also have a faith. I visit to temple sometimes. I also have some faith. What's the difference? So faith does not justify the word Shraddha here. It's definitely faith, no doubt. One Maharaj was saying, actually, all the 9 stages of bhakti is about Shraddha. So even Prema Bhakti, now we also have Prema Bhakti Mataji here. That is also Shraddha. Shraddha is also Shraddha. But what's the difference between when we call the word Shraddha in stage 1 and when we have Prema Bhakti in stage 9? So I said, every stage your Shraddha is increasing, your faith is increasing. First one, as per Prabhupada, on a very high level, you can say a very preliminary Shraddha, very preliminary faith. Prabhupada also writes as a initial inquisitiveness about Krishna. What is this Hare Krishna? What do? They're chanting whole day, they're feasting, what are they doing? So that, that initial curiosity, inquisitiveness, you can say, and with that curiosity, I visit temple, for example. That is called Shraddha. Some initial positive faith for the devotees or for the process or for the organization, that is called Shraddha. Some positive faith. So we're not against it. We are saying, I just want to check them out. That's called Shraddha. Just a very high level. So some initial curiosity, you can say. So when you have Shraddha, you go to temple or to any program like that. And then what do? You do Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha means devotees will be there and you'll be having their association. You'll ask some questions, they'll respond some questions, and you may be satisfied with those questions. Some questions you may not be satisfied with. You'll come back and ponder about it. But you're having some Sadhu Sangha, having some devotee association. And in devotee association, what do devotees tell you with the very first? Are you chanting? Mala karte ho? I'm remembering Satyasen Prabhu. He was always, we meet even a new person, chota bada anyway. So Mala karte ho? First he will say, Hare Krishna bolo, Hare Krishna bolo. Very lovingly he will say the other person to chant Hare Krishna loudly. And then he will say, Mala kiya karo. So he'll always inspire. Devotees will always inspire. Even if they're not in that stage, say, come for Janmashtami, we'll have wonderful prasadam. There's a very nice festival. So we invite people so that they can do some bhajan kriya. Bhajan kriya, again, it may be not a frequent bhajan. It can be infrequent bhajan in the beginning. I give my example. When I started chanting Hare Krishna, I was chanting 1 round a week. Every week before going to the temple, I'll chant 1 round because devotees will ask me, are you chanting? So I didn't want to lie. That's just very bad. So I just wanted to say, yes, I'm chanting. So I chanted 1 round before going to Sunday program. And that's how it started. And then they started asking the next question. So how many? Like, too many questions you ask. And I was fully convinced, I'll be very honest, I will never chant full conviction, 16 rounds a day. Just forget it. I'll just chant 1 or 2 rounds. That's it. I was like fully convinced with that number in my mind. But devotees are devotees, They'll keep poking till you reach to 16, and then they will say, Ekadashi karte ho? They'll come to Ekadashi. Then they say, initiation liya ki nahi liya? They will just keep dragging you till they take you back to Godhead. Honestly, we are not walking back to Godhead with our intelligence, with our shraddhas. Forget it. Devotees are taking us. So as soon as, no matter how big advanced devotee you are, if you leave devotee association, honestly, you're finished. Sooner or later, you're finished. So we should be very convinced we are not walking back to Godhead. Devotees are taking us back to Godhead. We didn't want to go back to Godhead. We still don't want, sorry to say, we still don't want. Maybe some of you want. We are still fully convinced that material world is a very nice place, although we had some failures in life, but next project will be definitely successful. Definitely. I know. I'm so intelligent. One example, when Maharaj came, very beautiful. He said, we are practically dragging us not towards Godhead, against Godhead, because we do so many activities, so many offenses, so many things which are against Krishna consciousness. So what devotees do, we don't want to go back like a little child, A mother is taking a child to the doctor, and child doesn't want to go to doctor. Child doesn't want to take the injection. So mother sometimes lifts the child, even the child is heavy. Mother lifts the child and drag the child back to Godhead. So this Maharaj was saying, devotees have lifted us from both sides because we don't have legs to walk. We have legs to walk backwards from the Godhead, which we have done. That's why we are here. So Maharaj said, devotees are lifting us from each side and they are dragging us towards Godhead. This is how devotees are. So beautiful, without any selfish desires. Anyway, come back. So we are doing bhajan kriya in sadhu sangha, and with that bhajan kriya, what will happen? Anartha nivritti. Just one line definition of anartha is, artha means which has some value. Arth in Hindi, what is the meaning? Artha has many meanings. Artha can be taken in 2 meanings. Artha has money, or artha which is meaning. So anartha means no money, means it's anartha, it's rubbish. Now everyone throws their rubbish every day out of their house because it has no meaning. But if you store the rubbish, especially the kitchen rubbish, what will happen if you store it for 2-3 days? It will stink. It will get fungi and all those things. It will stink. Imagine same anarthas we keep in our heart, like our wealth, for ages and ages and ages. And what are those anarthas? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar, all of us, in different degrees, obviously. We're carrying all those anarthas in our heart for years and years. And that's why we feel a struggle in devotional life. So what will happen by bhajan kriya? Our anarthas will start going away. With how speed they will go out? With the sincerity we are practicing Krishna consciousness. Not with perfection. We always say, Radhanath Maharaj, he always use the word sincerity. Sincerity means do best. Do the best as you can in those situations. And one person's best may not be the other person's best. And that's why we should not compare. Everyone's life is different. Everyone's capacity is different. So, but what speed the anarthas will get out of from our heart? With the speed we have surrendered to Krishna, we are following with faith the instruction of our spiritual master or Prabhupada. Anartha nivritti. With anartha nivritti, As anarthas are getting out of the heart, we'll get nishtha. So what's the difference between the first Shraddha and nishtha here? Acharya has explained. First Shraddha is like a banana tree. Banana tree can be uprooted easily. I've not tried it, but I have read it. It has different layers. But it says it can be easily uprooted. But nishtha is like faith, again, same faith, but like a banyan tree. A banyan tree cannot be uprooted. Practically cannot be uprooted. It is so deep. So our Shraddha has gone up so much because anarthas are gone. And with that nishtha, if we continue doing the bhajan, ruchi will appear. Ruchi means a natural attraction. Now, so far we are doing bhajan, at least I can talk about me, with the instruction of our superiors. I don't have any ruchi. I'll be honest. Sometimes some drops of ruchi come for a second and then we get sleepy. So we don't have much ruchi at this stage. Some of you may have ruchi. Ruchi means a natural attraction, not you're following the instruction of your spiritual master. You get natural attraction. Like how many of you can get up for Mangala Aarti without alarm clock? Any one of you? Even if you do, you'll not raise your hand because you're nice devotees. I remember one person, again remembering Satyasen Prabhu here, he'll get up every day, 2 o'clock. Why? He had some attraction. We sleep at 2 o'clock. He'll get up at 2 o'clock every day. Not like, oh, okay, only on Ekadashi, only in Vrindavan. No, he will get up every day. So again, there's some ruchis there you can see in this person. He doesn't need those crutches which we need. We are when we ask to fill up the sadhana card, it's very difficult because what you will show in the sadhana card, the marks are so low. People don't fill many times because the marks are too low. But I recommend you should still fill up, because at least you are able to see your weaknesses. So please fill up sadhana card. It's very, very nice. It's not to show that I'm so great, but it to show where moments of weaknesses are, and then we can try to overcome them. It really helps. It really helps. Anyway, so after ruchi, you'll get asakti. Ruchi is, you can say, initial natural attraction. Asakti is like, I'm asakta. Now you can say one example here, a bad example. There can be many good examples as well. So Ravan had a ruchi for Sita in the beginning. When Shupnaka was explaining about the different body parts of Mother Sita, he had a ruchi. But later on, as he heard the description, he got asakti. You can say another example positive of Rukmani. Rukmani was hearing Katha of Krishna from Narad Muni. Initially, ruchi came. Later on, asakti came. Vedvati, same. Vedvati, later gone asakt with Lord Vishnu. I cannot leave Lord Vishnu. No matter how many lives I have to give. That's called asakti. Now, bhava bhakti. All the anarthas are practically gone. There can still be some reflections at this stage of your previous offenses, but it's practically gone. Acharyas call it before sunrise, you see the light. That's called bhava, light reflection of prema. And prema is full-fledged love of Godhead. Now, there are stages after prema as well. We'll read that in NOD. Actually, not as a part of Bhakti Shastri, but you can read the stages after prema. Anyway, these are 9 stages. Now, NOI very beautifully deals with 9 stages of bhakti. Now, let's look at this chart. This chart is not made by me. I've copied it from somewhere, but you can copy from here as well. So, NOI deals from Shraddha to Prema in 11 verses. First 3 verses talks about Shraddha. The first Shraddha stage, which we talked about. 4 to 6 talks about Sadhu Sangha, how we associate with different devotees, and it will also talk about different levels of devotees. 4 to 6. Verse 7, very, very big verse. I think Akhand Rasa Prabhu was trying to read this verse and was saying it's hard to read. We'll read that verse if we get time today, Prabhuji, and then we'll probably know the meter. So verse 7 talks about Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, and Ruchi. 4 stages in one verse. Just imagine what a mastermind Rupa Goswami is. We can't even read the verse. He has written 4 stages of bhakti in one verse in Sanskrit, just in 2 lines. Just amazing, amazing. Verse 8 talk about asakti to Krishna. Verse 9 to 11 talk about bhava and prema. So very quickly, 1 to 3 talk about Shraddha. 4 to 6 talks about Sadhu Sangha. 7 talks about Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, and Ruchi. Verse 8 talk about Asakti. 9 to 11 talk about Bhava and Prema. Is it all clear? So in one page, you can see the whole NOI. You can take a screenshot if you like. The whole NOI is being put in one page. So this reflects what we're going to talk in this particular book very systematically, very, very systematically. He's not jumping up and down, putting the prema first and bhava later, nothing like that. So Rupa Goswami has put the whole 9 stages very thoughtfully, very sequentially, very beautifully. So this is what we're going to talk in NOI. Any questions at this stage? Okay, all good. Now, okay, Jai Dharma Prabhu has a question. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, just want to add to that word Shraddha, because
Yes.
Guru Maharaj was explaining this word etymology in Sanskrit.
Yes,
like
Prabhu.
it has been divided into Shrat and Dha.
Okay.
So he was explaining one is, it is basically from the truth spoken from the heart. That's how he divided it. So, and in support of it, it's basically trust and like what you develop for Lord as a faith. So that's how he was elaborating. But in general terms, also, I think we use the word Shraddha, right, Prabhu? Like Shraddha se suno, Shraddha se padho.
Yes, yes, yes.
So there, the context is more like probably attentively or focus, with the focus kind of a mind also comes, right, Prabhu? General
Yes,
sense.
absolutely, Prabhu. Yeah. So Shraddha has many, many meanings, and as Prabhuji very nicely said, so it has a faith or attentiveness as well. So depending on different contexts, you can translate word Shraddha. Now, Chaitanya Charitamrita, just on that, I remember one verse by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. It says, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kare Dृढ़ Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krat Haya. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, what does Shraddha mean? Shraddha means by doing Krishna Bhakti, just by worshipping Krishna, serving Krishna. Sarva Karma Krat Haya. Sarva Karma Krat. You have done everything. And that's why if you see a famous verse which says we have 6 types of debt, but if you take in the sharan, the shelter of Mukunda, you're not indebted to any being. If you're taking complete shelter to Mukunda, Lord Krishna, you're not indebted to anyone, because by serving Mukunda, by serving Krishna, you have done everything else. Now, there's no more debt to your pitaras, your forefathers, the society, the sages. No other rina, no other debt remains on your head. But if you have not taken full shelter of Mukunda, you remain in debt. And that's why we have to be very, very careful. Someone was saying in a class, when we take from others, it feels very good, isn't it? When others serve us, maybe by words as well. We should be very, very careful. But because if you're taking from someone and not giving to that person, you are in debt. You are in debt. And saying a person who's just taking, he's a Rakshasa actually, he's a demon. So we should try to become at least human. Human means you take and you give in equal quantity. But if you're giving more, then you're a sadhu. So we should try to become sadhu, take less and give more. Now, modern tendency is obviously, take as much as possible and give as little as possible. As little as possible. But in devotional life, actually, it's other way. And that's why devotees have very nice mood of serving each other. Naturally. They don't want to take from you. Even when they take from you, they take in the mood of service. Suppose some devotee has brought a gift for you from Vrindavan. You take it, but in the mood of serving that devotee, by taking that, by accepting that prasadam or whatever gift it may be, you make this devotee happy. If you don't take it, he will be like, Prabhu, what happened? If someone has invited you for a nice prasadam lunch or dinner, you go to that place, but not with a bhokta bhav. Oh, I will enjoy so many varieties of food. No, you go there to serve that person. By accepting those prasadam, I'm making this devotee happy. And that should be the mood. That should be the mood, not that you go for taking. That's not the mood of a devotee. So we should become sadhu, take as little as possible from others. And it can be on all different levels. Even appreciation. Appreciation. First, we don't deserve appreciation. If anything good we have, it's from acharyas. It's from acharyas. So we don't deserve it. But even if you take, we should return it back. Return, not as a transaction I'm talking here. No, not as a transaction, as an attitude. Because devotees are always saying to others as Prabhu. What does Prabhu mean? Prabhu means you're my master, I'm your servant. So servant is not taking from the master. Servant's duty is to serve. So if I'm calling another person as Prabhu, I should mean him as Prabhu, not that I say, Prabhu, you're not listening. That's not Prabhu. You don't tell your boss like that. Huh? So Prabhu means master. From that perspective, when Matajis are Prabhu, why? They are the master. So every single living entity is our master and we are serving them. So if we develop that nice mood that what can I give to this person at every moment, you don't have to be in your home, you don't have to have a big bank balance. You can serve others with your words, with your intelligence. You can give others emotional support, and the best if you give devotional support. That's why Prabhupada said, Gyan Dan is the best Dan. Every other Dan, very nice, and we should give Gyan Dan, where we are sharing as much as possible, whatever we know. Even if we know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just by telling that, we are helping other person. So thank you, Prabhu. Word Shraddha is very, very big. We can have a lot of discussion on that word. Okay, let's move forward. It's already at 30. Now, this is a simple thing. Again, it has come from your MIHE. I've just put in this slide and I've given different colors. So nothing big. Everything is MIHE guide. What I have done here, I've just put a few things together. And again, you can take a screenshot, but all these wordings come from our acharyas. Okay, so the three divisions you see there in the color code also has a meaning, although the color codes are not perfect. In NOD, Bhanu Maharaj was giving a class very beautifully. He said, everyone is a devotee, as we were talking about the Maharaj example. Everyone who goes to temple is a devotee. But some devotees are unripe mango, like a green mango devotee, and some are very ripened mango. So which mango you like to take? Mostly a ripened mango, a sweet one, right? So devotees also go through different stages while they are serving Krishna. So Manu Maharaj said, we are becoming from unripe mango to a ripe mango. So unripe mango here in this sheet, you can say, is represented by the green color. Verses from 1 to 7, we are talking about Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Now, what Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is, we'll talk in detail in NOD, Nectar of Devotion. So Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is talked about in verses 1 to 7 in NOI. I'll just quickly read. So Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti you can also divide in three parts, which we have read in the previous slide. So 1 to 3 is Shraddha, or controlling your senses. 4 to 6 is Sadhu Sangha, and 7 is Bhajan Kriya Anandamati and Nishtha and Ruchi. So all these verses, these 7 verses are talking about Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, which means Vidhi Vidhan ki Bhakti, rules and regulations. You don't have any interest in doing those things, but you know that's good for you. That's why you do it. Like some children or even adults don't like taking medication, but they do take medication, because they know their disease will go by taking those medications. So that's called Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, you can say spontaneous. Now, Raganuga is a big word. We'll discuss in NOD. But just a simple translation here, Raganuga is spontaneous attraction for Krishna. As I said, the example of Satyasena Prabhu, or many devotees for that sake, have very spontaneous attraction. Uda Kirti Prabhu right now is visiting Sydney. Many devotees know him. Such a nice, wonderful. Now you can see he has this spontaneous attraction for Krishna. I don't have. Many of you would have. You still struggle even with the alarm clock. It says the most pressed button on your phone is the snooze button. The snooze button get pressed the most, especially when you have to get up for Mangala Aarti. I'm looking at Shubham Prabhu and their Prema Bhakti Mataji at two corners of my screen at least. They come for Mangala Aarti more than when I go for Gaur Aarti. Anyway, there's many more devotees. I'm seeing Madhuri Mataji is here as well. Partha Prabhu. Very nice, very nice. And that should be the case with everyone. With everyone. Even if you don't go to temple physically, you should perform Aarti at home. Prabhupada said at home you should make a temple. You can do Mangala Aarti at home. If you cannot go to temple, that's fine. Anyway, that's Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, which is dealt in NOI by verse 8. 9 to 11, Bhava and Prema Bhakti, which is spiritual geography, which we'll talk about 9, 10, and 11. Now, I'll give a quick introduction of each verses, and then we'll go further in the book. So, this black thing is keep coming back. 1 second, I'll just remove this. Okay. Sorry, I'm putting it down. Okay, so verse 1 is talking about controlling our 6 urges. What does these 6 urges mean? We'll talk when we come to verse 1. So what these 6 urges are and how do we control and what is the benefit of controlling those 6 urges is described in the very first verse. Now, Prabhupada said, now this you may find as a like something which you cannot achieve, but Prabhupada said verse 1 deals with Madhyamadhikari. Now that's very surprising. When I read that, I was also surprised. I thought verse 1 will be dealing with Uttamadhikari, but Prabhupada said actually it's Madhyamadhikari. And Prabhupada said at many places, I'm expecting all the ISKCON devotees to become at least Madhyamadhikari. So don't think verse 1 of NOI is dealing with Uttamadhikari or something which you cannot achieve. Actually, that's the objective for all of us. Pretty high standard, pretty high standard. That's why many times devotees call you as a, a senior devotee, senior Vaishnava, this and that. I personally feel very embarrassed, actually. I'll be very honest. I don't know where to put my head down because you read this definition, it's from Shastra. You read Prakrit Bhakta, which is, we call it as a neophyte devotee, as per Bhagavatam in 11th canto, you will pull your hairs. That Prakrit Bhakta definition feels like a Uttam Adhikari definition to us. And sometimes when someone calls you as a Madhyam Adhikari, you feel actually he is right. I've been here for a while, so at least I'll be a Madhyam Adhikari. Excuse me, look in Bhagavatam. Look in Bhagavatam. You don't have to look outside. What others feel about me, that's different. What Shastra is telling is very, 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 very clear. The Prakrit Bhakta definition of 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is very high. What to speak of Madhyam and the Uttama Bhakta. We'll read those definitions when we go to NOI and NOD both. But I'm saying, so controlling these 6 urges deals with Madhyamadhikari, which Prabhupada asked us to become by the end of this lifetime, at least. Obviously, Uttamadhikari is the best. Verse 2 deals with what are the obstacles in achieving, in controlling those 6 urges. Very beautiful. So you have a target given in the very first verse of NOI. And now, very beautifully, Rupa Goswami is talking about what are those obstacles which you will feel. So he's very practical. He's not saying, oh, you're not even Madhyamadhikari. No, not like that. He's very practical. He's saying you'll feel some obstacles. And first he talks about obstacles, then he talks about the positive side of those things. So he's talking in verse 2, what are those obstacles? And he will tell you. You will face these obstacles, and if you can remove those obstacles in your life, or at least minimize these obstacles in your life, you will be going in a very smooth journey of verse 1, which is a target verse. In this section I'm talking, right? Verse 3 talks about principles that aid devotional service. So what are those things which will help you in moving forward? So verse 2 talks about what are the things which you have to leave. I'm looking at Manmohan Prabhu. You go and meet with him and say, Prabhuji, I have this problem. And Prabhuji will say, okay, pakode khana band, ice cream band, tala hua band. And then you take the medication. So he will tell you some negatives to follow and some positives to do. Negative, for example, you love the sweet, but Prabhuji will say, okay, stop ice cream for next 7 days or something like that. Now, in this country, no one tells you that, but India doctors used to tell, ice cream mat khana, tala hua mat khana, and all that, at least for those days. So you understand? So first, he's talking about negative, what you should not do. And then third verse deals with what you should do. So if you follow verse 2 and 3, verse 1 will be successfully achieved. Okay, so that's the first section. It's talking about controlling your senses and what's the objective and all that. Second, Sadhu Sangha section, you can see verse 4 talks about 6 loving exchanges. Now, this 6 exchanges is, you can say, as a minimal criteria in dealing with all kinds of devotees, whether they're neophyte devotees, whether they are Madhyamadhikari devotees, Uttamadhikari, all. So, general principle is laid out in verse 4 of the NOI of Sadhu Sangha. Now, verse 5 talks about there are different kinds of devotees. Like if a sannyasi comes to your house, you will deal that sannyasi differently than a grahastha comes or a neophyte devotee comes in your house. You will respect, obviously, everyone. That's common. Now, how do you respect a neophyte and how do you respect a sannyasi will vary. And obviously, it will vary upon time, place, and circumstances as well. But generally speaking, you will deal with a sannyasi very differently than you will deal with a neophyte person. So now verse 5 will talk about association according to levels of advancement. So very, very beautiful verse. Verse 6 will talk about associating with pure devotees. So verse 5 will give you 3 different levels, categories. It will talk about Kanishtha Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttamikari. We will talk about that in verse 5 when we get there. And verse 6 talks about how do you associate with a pure devotee. Just deals with pure devotee. Very, very beautiful verse. So that's clear, the Sadhu Sangha section. And the next 7, as I said, the very, very, very important verse of NOI, dealing with 4 stages of bhakti. It will talk about chanting the holy name, practice devotional service, not for its taste, but for its healing potency. So it glorifies the chanting of the holy name beautifully, beautifully. Now, verse 8 talked about how do you develop the Raganuga Bhakti. So you've done the Vaidhi Bhakti for n number of years, for example. Now you should have the result of Vaidhi Bhakti should result in some spontaneous attraction for Krishna. So how do you know? How do you do it? So verse 8 talks about spontaneous devotional service in practice, how Prabhupada through ISKCON has implemented Rupa Goswami's Upadesha Sara. Sar means summary of the Upadesh. So verse 8 in one sense, technically finishes Upadeshamrita. So Upadeshamrita technically gets finished on verse 8. Rupa Goswami says, Iti Upadesha Sara. So it finishes. Upadesh means instruction. So he stops giving instruction at verse 8. So what does 9 to 11 do? They talk about Bhava and Prema Bhakti, which is beyond the realm of Vaidhi or Raganuga Bhakti. And he talks about geography. So verse 9 talks about the hierarchy of the material and spiritual worlds, understanding the reality and the glory of the spiritual world with its transcendental hierarchy. We'll read these verses in a minute. That's my plan at least. Verse 10 talks about the hierarchy of different types of human beings. So you'll find different range of human beings. As I said, there can be some karmis there can be some bhaktas, but in bhaktas also there are different categories. So Rupa Goswami will talk about the hierarchy of different human beings and the exalted love of Srimati Radharani, that is in verse 10. Now verse 11 is a merge of verse 9 and 10 together. The glories of Radhakund, how love reigns supreme in Golok Vrindavan. Very beautiful verse. Okay. So again, I tried to explain whole NOI in practically 2 pages. So this is page 1, where you can see all the themes, 9 stages of devotion service, which was deal with which stage of devotion service. And then this talks about relation with nectar of devotion, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, and Bhava Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. Any questions at this stage? Okay, no more questions. So what my plan is, we can read these verses because I really, really like reading the verses. When we read the verse, you may find it difficult initially, but you will get used to it. They're very easy verses, very deep verses, obviously, but easy to read. So we can read these verses today. There's another 18 minutes, 17 minutes. So we can read these verses and then we'll start nectar of instruction next week. Yes, Akhandasa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, in this overview, you told us about in text 7 that one must practice devotional service not for its taste but for its healing process.
Yeah, and that's why it's under Vaidhi Bhakti. It's not under Raganuga Bhakti. It's categorized because we are trying to get rid of our disease, and Rupa Goswami will talk about it.
Okay, so we are still at the Vaidhi Bhakti stage.
That's right. That's why it's under green, Mataji. So green, yellow, you can say orange, a mix in the middle, and then you can see a yellow ripened mango.
Thank
That's
you.
a color coding. Yeah. Yes, Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
I was wondering, you mentioned earlier before the start somewhere that was it Prabhupada said that anyone who comes to the temple is a devotee.
Bhakti Rang Maharaj, he has a whole class. If I'm not wrong, I heard many, many years ago. Who is a Vaishnava or something like that? You can search on the net. He has given 3 classes on the same topic.
Is that including anyone in there with the intention of just coming for prasad only?
Anyone, Mataji, anyone, because he has come to Krishna in that sense. And Krishna says, Udara sarv evaite, anyone who comes to me, whether it's Artho Jigyasu Artharthi, he's very dear to me. Even if I come to ask Krishna, Krishna give me money. And I may never come back to Krishna once I get my lottery. Krishna still considers me. I have come to Krishna instead of going to a demigod or to a politician or something. So yes, the in a very high level answer is he's a devotee.
Okay, so I know some people just come for prasad, but they don't want to take darshan. So
Absolutely, yeah. Prasad
Yeah.
is also a form of Krishna. I
Yeah.
also started like that, although I did take darshan as well. But yeah, prasad is a very big attraction. So in high level now, NOI in verse 5, and we'll see that what your question, I get the intent of it. We should not associate with those people, because if you want to grow higher in any direction, even in a business, Mataji, if you want to grow higher in any technical field, you have to associate with someone who knows higher than you, isn't it? Unless you associate with them, you cannot learn more things, and you don't want to go backwards. So although we deal with them respectfully, but we don't associate with them, and that's where Rupa Goswami will tell you, and to all of us, we should associate with pure devotees. He will tell, use adarat. Adarat means you do adar of them, you do like respectful to them, you don't associate with them. Lal Govind Prabhu, just on that, I remember one thing. He said, even to initiated devotees, just Lal Govind Prabhu speaking, not me. You have problem, talk to Prabhu. If they are not serious, and there are many examples, I'm sure everyone knows. If they are not serious in devotional life, we should not associate with them. So initiation is not a certification that, oh, you're initiated, so you're serious. Not really. Not really. Many devotees I have found personally in my little experience, they're not initiated. They are much more serious than many initiated devotees. Huh? Even Brahman initiators I've heard or seen, yeah, doing all sorts of nonsense, and then they come to temple sometime. So that sometimes in extreme cases can become a very big obstacle, because we think we are there, but we are absolutely not there, because the number of offenses we make, the ignorance which we are in, can become a big obstacle. At the same time, we should not also forget that their spiritual master is behind them. So somehow or other, his or her spiritual master will help that soul to come back. But a person who is not initiated, formally at least, has less support. And that's why sometimes recommended, obviously in a positive way, you must get initiation, in a positive sense, but not to take benefit of it or to think that, yes, I have my guru. One time I was hearing Radhavan Maharaj, and he was telling a humorous joke in the class. He spoke to some person somewhere in India, and he was speaking to this person, and he said, oh, this person said, actually, I also have a spiritual master. So Radhavan Maharaj said, oh, that's very nice. So what does your spiritual master tell you? Does he tell you to chant the holy name of the Lord? He said, no, no. Does he tell you to read books like Bhagavatam or Prabhupada? He said, no, no. He said, why I have to read and chant? I have my spiritual master. If I have my spiritual master, do I still have to chant? That's what this person's response was. And Radhavan Maharaj said, if the spiritual master can chant his own rounds, that is a big thing. He's going to chant on your behalf as well. Like, this is how some people have this conception. If they have some connection with some guru, that's it. Their ticket to Golok Vrindavan is just there. They got the appointment letter. That's what they think. They got the appointment letter. Now they can do anything in the world and they will still go back to Godhead. That's absolutely wrong understanding. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
We will look into verse 5 of what you said. Beautiful verse, and that will answer your any other doubts as well. Yes, Madhuri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Just I was thinking, like when you said we should not associate with people who are not into seriously into Krishna consciousness, but
You should
when
not
we
seriously
see,
associate unless it's a seva. Like you're serving prasadam, for example, you're dealing with some new devotees. You have to encourage them, right? But we're not seriously aspiring for their association, because their association, they still have their mixed desire. Not that we don't have, at least I have, right? We're not saying that. But when you associate means service. We'll talk about that. What is the meaning of word association? Many times, and I have heard people's going to beach and shopping and going with devotees. I remember one instance in Vrindavan, it's a live instance. Some Vrindavan Gurukuli boys went to watch a movie, some mundane movie outside ashram. And he came back, this guy, and the teacher there in Gurukul Vrindavan was asking this guy, did you go to see movies? And this guy said, but Guru Maharaj, I went in devotee association. So we have to understand what does it mean by devotee association. So we should not take this word very cheaply. Anyway, Madhima, sorry, I didn't hear your question completely.
No, I think it is almost the same. So we will do when we do verse 5 and all, we will know more
Yes.
about association and also about this sadhu, not sadhu sangha, but anardha nivritti, nishtha and ruchi, even our shraddha, and sometimes it's always wavering. Even
Yes.
how many ever years I'm associating, but still I'm not very
Yes.
confident.
And
So
that's why, yes, Mataji, I get what you're saying. And that's why we need constant devotee association, because it's a constant process. It's not like one-off. Like you pass your Bhakti Shastri exam, sorry, then you're done. And that's it, right? But it's not like that. But devotional service, my Guru Maharaj was just saying in one of the classes, he's saying you have to win Krishna every moment. If you think Krishna is in my hand, Krishna is gone. Krishna is gone. So you have to win Krishna's heart every moment. And that's why you have to be devotee. All of us have to be devotee every moment. Not that when I'm in a class, I'm a devotee, and then after the class, I do all nonsense. No, that's not devotion. Okay, to start with, it's okay. At least for 1 or 2 hours, we are devotees. That's nice. But Krishna Chaitanya Maharaj, who recently came in, he was saying there's good, there's better, and there's the best. So it's good you are in associating with Krishna for 1 hour a day, half an hour a day. That's nice. Very, very nice. That's not the best. So these books are telling us to how to become pure devotees. So we have to take it very seriously. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Thank
So
you, Prabhu.
let's.
Looking forward for nectar of instruction.
Yes, it's really
Well-
nectar. It's really nectar. I myself reading after 3-4 years, and I was beginning it. I'm like, I don't have enough time to read. It's so beautiful. Okay, let's read the verses, because by reading the verses as well of Acharyas, we get devotion, we get their blessings. So even if you find it difficult, please read these verses, or even if you have recording, you can hear it. It's very beautiful even to listen, read these Sanskrit verses. Again, not from a scholarly perspective, from getting the mercy. And then when you read, you really relish them. You can unmute your mic, and it's not a performance here. You can try to read few verses at least, and you can repeat after me. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam.
Vacho vegam,
Jiva vegam udropastha vegam.
iva vegam, ropasta vegam,
Etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha.
etano vishaheta dhira,
Sarvam api mam pratvim sa shishyat.
sarvam prithvim sasishyat.
If you
It's a
repeat,
verse to remember.
that's
First to remember, yeah, Prabhu is
verse to
saying.
remember. Now Avtar Prabhu has a whole list in his mind. Thank you, Prabhu. No, don't worry about that. That today we are not talking about that. Okay, just read and relish, I would say. Now Avtar Prabhu, next week. Atyahara prayasascha.
Atyahara prayasascha,
Prajalpo niyamagraha.
prajalpo niyamagraha,
Janasangascha lolyam cha.
janasangascha laulyam cha,
Jadbhir bhaktir vinashati.
sarvir vinashyati,
Utsaha nishayadhairyat.
utsaha nischaya dhairya,
Tat karma pravartanat.
tat karma pravartanat,
Sangatyagat sato vritteha.
sangatyagat stovritte,
Jadbhir bhakti prasidhyati.
tadbhir prasiddhyati,
Dadati pratigrahanati.
dadati pratigrahnati,
Guhyam akhyati prakshati.
guhyam ahnati prachati,
Bhukte bhojayate chaiva.
bhukte bhojayate chaiva,
Jadvidam priti lakshanam.
Pretty Lakshana.
Now here the meter changes. So we'll try to read that. Krishne tiyasya giritam manasadriyeta.
Krishne
Yasya
Dikshasti chet pranatabhischa bhajantamisham.
Dikshasti chetanam,
Shushrusaya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya.
Ananya Ninda.
Yeah.
Nindadishunya hridame sita sangalabdhya. If you don't remember, either you can hear the recording or we will repeat for few weeks, not every week, but few weeks we'll repeat these verses so you know the tune of every verse. This is the same one. Drishtai swabhava janitair vapuscha doshay. Na prakrutatvam iha bhakta janasya pashe. Ganga bhasam na khalu bud fena pankay. Brahmadravtam apagachati niradharmai. Syat Krishna Nam Charitadi Sitapi Avidya. Titopatapta Rasanasya Narochikano. Kint Adarad Anudinam Khalu Shaiva Justa. Swadvikramad Bhavati Tad Gadamulahantri. Akhandasa Prabhu, you okay with it? It's a simple tune actually. In all three verses, we are following the same tune. Actually, eighth is also same. Tan Nam Rupa Charitadi Sukirtanano. Smratyoh Kramena Rashana Manasi Niyojya. Tishtam Vraje Tat Anuragi Jananugami. Kalam Nayed Akhilam Iti Upadesha Saram. So it says Iti Upadesha Saram. So as I said, technically, Updeshamatam finishes here. He's glorifying the spiritual world here. This is a different tune here. Vaikuntha Janito Vara Madhupuri Tatrapi Raso Sava. Can be a little longer line, but if you patiently read it, you'll be fine. And when we do the translation, it will be very, very easy verses. You'll really enjoy. Okay, I'll start again. Vaikuntha Janito Vara Madhupuri Tatrapi Raso Sava. Vrindaranyamudare pani ramanat tatrapi govardhana. Radha kundamihapi gokulpate premamrata plavana. Happy Gokulapate
Amrita Plavana
Kuryat asya virajato giritate Sevam viveki naka Kuryat asya
Virajato Giripati Sevam Vivekina.
I can distinguishly hear Priya Mataji. So maybe you can read this verse next time.
Oh no.
It's a very beautiful verse. Anyway, if you're not comfortable, that's fine. Try to practice these verses. As I said, very beautiful. You love them. This is also a same meter, which we have done in verse 9. Karmebhya parito hare priyataya vyaktim yayurgyaninas.
Karmi Purihale
तेभ्यो ज्ञान विमुक्त भक्ति परमा प्रेमैकनिष्ठस्तथा तेभ्यस्ता पशुपाल पंकजदृश ताभ्योऽपि साराधिका प्रेष्ठा तद्वद इयं तदीय सरसी तां नाश्रयेत् काकृति प्रेष्ठा तद्वद इयं तदीय सरसी तां नाश्रयेत् काकृति. So 9, 10 goes the same meter. Now 11th is little cross verse. It may be a little difficult. We'll try. Krishnasyochai pranaya vasati preyasabhyopi radha. It's a little cross verse actually. So you can read it just like a cross. Krishnasya uchai pranaya vasati preyasabhyopi radha.
Krishna Shaichai Pranaya Pasati Preyoshiyopi Radha
Kundam chasya muni bhirabhitas tadrag eva vyadhayi. Kundam chasya muni bhirabhitas tadrag eva vyadhayi. Yat presthair api alam asulabham kim punar bhakti bhajam.
Yatpreshayabhi amalo asulabham kim bhakti bhajam
Tat premedam sakar epi sara isnatur avishkaroti.
Tat
Idam Shukriyapi Sarasnaturabhishkaroti.
Haribol. So you have done it all. So next week you can try preparing one verse or something like that. I'm not expecting you to remember everything. It's just as a practice. So few weeks we'll read the 11 verses. Doesn't take much time. Today it only took 10 minutes or so. So we can spend 10 minutes just for 3-4 weeks. So everything get in tune, and then we'll only read the verses which Namavatar Prabhu will tell. I think 5 verses. I'm not sure, Prabhu. 5 verses. 1, 2, 3, 4, and
7.
7. Oh, 7. That's why Khandasa Prabhu picked up the first one. Anyway, the quite easy verses. Except 11, actually everyone follows a very similar tune. So 1 to 4 has similar simple Bhagavad Gita tune, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 has a simple tune. 9, 10, 11 follows the same tune. So there are 3 meters in whole NOI. Okay, so next week we'll read them again and then dive from verse 1. Okay, any quick questions? It's 9:03. Okay, all good. So hope it made little sense. Nectar of Instruction is a very beautiful book. If you haven't read it, please read before coming to the classes. It will be very helpful because we can't cover everything in the class. And Prabhupada purports are very beautiful. I'm also reading. And again, I want to spend more time in reading. But it will be nice if we all read and then come. And if I miss out anything, please add those points for everyone's benefit. So, Gopal Prabhu, any announcements?
Not at this stage, Prabhuji.
Okay, so Prabhuji will share that template. So if you want to start your assignment, you can start from today. Don't leave it for the last day. It's difficult, I know. Some devotees were awake till 4:30 a.m. in last official assignment. So please don't do that. It's not good for your health and not good for your devotional service and your family as well. So please finish not on the last day. Start today, this week, and it's very easy, like 35 questions in the Prabhu, 34, 35 questions. So they're not much. So as we are reading, you can just try to attempt it. Later on, we can improve it if your understanding has deepened so far. Okay, so let's stop here.